What up, Blue Jays? Sean Blue here. I'm here to talk about the murder of Billy London. Billy London, he was a gay porn star from LA, and he was, I believe, murdered in the year 1990. And there's going to be a documentary being made about him from this woman named Rachel Manson. And, and she wants to bring attention to the case because it's an unsolved murder. And she's claiming that Jeffrey Dahmer probably was the one that killed Billy London. But like when I was watching like a sneak peek of the documentary, it looks like it's going to be very like preachy, like talking about there was this one gay guy talking oh well sex workers. Nobody cares about sex workers, particularly like gay sex workers. And I was just like sitting there like rolling my eyes. I'm like, are you going to be preaching to me about people being anti-gay and apparently people being anti-gay in the 90s? I was a child in the 90s. I was born in 87. So I was like, by the time I was 10 years old, it was 97. I don't recall the 90s, even though I was a child, I don't recall the 90s being anti-gay. Like, was there anti-gay people in the 90s? Of course. No different than there's anti-gay people in 2022. But I don't recall the 90s like really being anti-gay. Because think about all the TV shows and movies and the music that was popular at the time with all those like music videos and stuff like that. None of that ever seemed it's a lot of it seemed gay friendly, which is fine. But like that the Ellen show and yeah, because like all those like different like 90s like little pop music bands at the time um like the B-52s. I know they're kind of old, but like I'm so sick of people trying to rewrite history like, oh, the 90s were so rough for gay people and stuff like that. I'm sure for certain individuals, yes. No different than uh like the 90s were really rough for like black people. Like what? No, they weren't. But like for certain individuals, maybe they were. You know, it's just like I'm so sick of like this is like so like topical now with transgenders and gay people. It's like they're trying to rewrite history and try to say like their like lives were so tough back in the old days. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't recall the 90s being very anti-gay. So are you going to do a documentary about solving the murder of Billy London and trying to pin it on Jeffrey Dahmer? Maybe you have a lot of good proof that Jeffrey Dahmer did it, but also at the same time, I'm kind of getting sick of that too, where like people saying like, "Oh, the unsolved mysteries are like between Jeffrey Dahmer and Ted Bundy," because like I'm sorry, a lot of people look like Jeffrey Dahmer, a lot of people look like Ted Bundy. Especially like gay guys, like a lot of gay guys kind of look like Jeffrey Dahmer, a young guy with blonde hair that not an ugly but not good looking either, because some guy, like a lot of guys look like that. Heck, even Billy London kind of looked like Jeffrey Dahmer. So so you better like in this documentary be throwing in some good proof that Jeffrey Dahmer did it, and also don't get too preachy and try to rewrite history like, oh wow, look how far we gone. I'm sorry, it's an unsolved murder of a gay man. There's also unsolved murders of heterosexual men. Are people against heterosexual people? Of course not. It's because an unsolved murder. So yeah, you better like really make it about this unsolved murder about this young man that was murdered and they found him in the dumpster and all they found was a head and some feet. And I was thinking about doing an inappropriate Mr. Potato Head joke, but I'm not. But I was thinking about doing a Mr. Potato Head joke about it. But yeah, so this documentary could be better about Billy London and not this like whole like preaching like gay rights thing in my face.